Go live. How come it didn't go live? Oh, it did go live.
There you go.
You're on?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi.
Now, what are you giving away? You have some Amsoil koozies.
I'm giving away Amsoil, koozie and a mouse pad.
Yeah.
For what's it worth?
For what's it worth?
Yeah.
And
I'm giving away a hat. I should bring a hat out.
Okay, you can go get one when I start the show.
A hat for viewer appreciation.
Do you have a hat? Do you know when one is quickly? All right, whatever. I don't think I have a picture of one. And we can still do grips. Paul Standard give away grips, right?
Well,
if they remember to give their address.
Yes.
All right. It is 6 straight up.
Straight up.
I'm starting the show.
Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Jerry Maddox.
And I'm Ryder Maddox in sunny California.
And you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, hosted by Joe Abadi.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Abadi, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. It's very hot here in Northern California today, close to 100, and just too hot to be out in the shop. So I am bringing you the show live from Casa Abadi, right here in my kitchen with somebody else who's very familiar with the kitchen, Sue Abadi.
Hi.
Sue.
Yeah.
What are we giving away tonight? What do you got in your bag of tricks?
We have a poster for trivia.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yep.
And for viewer appreciation, we have either hat or grips.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And for what's it worth, did I say that already?
No, what's it worth? We'll still come up with some stickers, right?
Yeah.
All right. And for people who did the what's it worth thing last week, I think Phil Agapio and Paul.
No, it's Rob Wilhelm.
Whoever did not get stickers yet, you will be getting stickers.
I'm working on it.
Sue is working on it. I am not in the sticker department. Sue is, okay?
I'm a little behind.
We'll catch up. Hey,
Yeah.
I got to thank all of our sponsors who helped make this show possible. Racer X, the International Motocross Museum, Motion Pro, Bultaco East, Arma, Preston Petty Products, Full Circle, and of course, Amsoil. If you would like to get in a board like this and have your name up there for 2 million people, at least, close to 3 million at this point, over 90 days, get a hold of me, please. It's not very expensive, $249 a month, and that's the lowest it's ever going to be, and it's just the lowest that it's ever been. All right? Don't forget to keep sharing the show, whether you're on Facebook or you are on YouTube. Share the show, and a little bit later on, Sue will be giving away some prizes, okay? Tonight, coming up in the Next Time Try This segment, we have something from Roy Vanderveer. Roy, always with something great, pulls out something just about every week. Let's get a look at what Roy has this time.
Hey, let's find some free horsepower. Today I want to talk about how to match a cylinder base gasket to the cylinder. Sometimes the gaskets aren't cut quite correctly. Sometimes the cylinders have been modified, so therefore the factory gasket or any aftermarket gasket is not going to be able to fit properly. So we need to verify that this gasket is not obstructing flow up through these transfer ports from the bottom end. And the way we're going to do that is just verify that it's not hanging into the port. It's hanging in here. There's a little bit hanging in here. There's a little bit hanging in here. And a little bit there. And the bot right through this section right here, that gasket is hanging out into the port. So what we're going to need to do is very carefully take a sharp X-Acto knife, and also this is when it's a really good idea to have some extra dowels around, since the ones in the cases are kind of stuck in there. I've got dowels to locate the gasket on the cylinder, and we're just going to carefully get in here and cut away this bit of gasket material that's not cooperating. As you go around and do the whole transfer area, you can end up finding out that you had a greatly restricted amount of flow rate going on. It's not uncommon for these to hang way out. That creates turbulence, interrupts airflow. You might have a stock engine or a fully ported engine. It doesn't matter. Your base gasket could wreck the whole program. So I'm going to work on the other 4 corners off camera, and then we'll stop back. I wanted to film this one for you. So as I did this edge, I just went right around the corner, and I'm going to just keep going right up the transfer there until the metal pushes the blade away from the gasket. This is just a tiny bit, but this is the tiny bit that makes the difference between an engine that runs good and an engine that runs fantastic. So, all right, I'm going to get back off camera and work on that. I need to rotate things around here, but it's real easy to see that we have unobstructed flow over the back side of that transfer port now. And to wrap up, by matching our base gasket to the cylinder, we can achieve extra flow. Extra flow is extra horsepower, and it's all for free. I've seen these gaskets hanging way into the transfer port. That's bad. This gasket was not so bad. We just had to make a couple little trims, and then we've got it as far open as it can be. So make sure to have a sharp X-Acto knife, have a couple extra cylinder base dowels, and take the time to check to make sure that your base gasket is properly matched to your cylinder.
Great information from Roy Vanderveer. Roy, thank you very much for bringing that to our attention this week. It's something that can be easily overlooked and easily corrected, as you've shown us here in video. The Moto Showcase is up next. The Moto Showcase is brought to you by Preston Petty Products. Be sure to visit them online at PrestonPettyProducts.com. This week's bike was sent in to us by Charles Madison, and it is a 1981 Honda Mugen. This is an authentic bike, and I'm going to read to you a little bit about it while we go through some of the pictures here. A lot of this information, or some of this information rather, was gathered from one of the articles that Terry Good from the International Motocross Museum had written for a copy of Motocross Action. When the Mugen was released in 1981, the ME125W1, it was the first time that a bike offered with a $4,000 price tag that was equal to, if not better than, what the factory teams were running on the national circuit. Factory Honda rider Johnny O'Mara once said that the 80 Mugen was a better bike than his 81 RC 125 works bike. It was true that you could buy 4 stock 125s for the price of 1 Mugen. You could also buy a production CR 125 and spend tons of money and thousands of dollars on aftermarket suspension. You could even add the Mugen Power Up Kit and still have money left over, but in the end, you still wouldn't have a bike that was as good as the Mugen ME 125 W2. The 81 ME 125 featured 43 millimeter works shower forks, a work shower shock, a very special lightweight frame, and that was a big part of the 1980 and 81 bike having such a solid feeling. Now, Charles Madison tells us that this 81 125, well, he found it last March of this year in Southern California. The bike was original with the exception of the coating on the pipe and the seat cover. The wear on the bike shows apparently that it does have a very low amount of time on it, and the bike does run incredibly well. Well, I'll tell you what, this bike is absolutely beautiful, Charles. And of course, the way that tank is molded in and the frame, those shrouds, nothing else was ever seen like this, certainly before 1981 and well into the 80s and well into the time where works bikes were still prevalent on the circuit. I'd say this bike still stood out pretty well amongst some of the most exotic bikes that were ever built. You're very, very fortunate to have it. I want to thank you for sending it in to us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. And being we featured it here, Charles Madison. If you get me, well, I obviously know your name, but I probably have your address if I look. But you know what, Charles? Get me your address. I'll send you a hat. I'll send you some grips, whatever you want. You've been a good friend to the show over the years. You've also sent me at least 3 Elsinore tanks to restore for you as well. So a more loyal viewer to the show and a more loyal customer, I don't think I could ask for one. Thanks so much for watching. And once again, Charles Madison, thanks for sending that bike in. We're going to take a quick break, and I mean very quick, and we will be right back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A. It's so quick, I don't even have the video queued up yet. That's how quick it is. God said, let there be light, and there was light. Preston Petty said, let there be light, and he gave you this, 1,200 lumens with a rechargeable battery on the back. Hook it up to your bike. No wires, no fuss, no muss. Get over to PrestonPettyProducts.com today. Thanks, Paul Stannard. And there you have it. Thanks, Paul Stannard, for doing so much for us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. In fact, the other day, I got a nice box of Super Sod, and what else did we get, Suze?
We got some Copa, I think they call it Copa, and some salami.
Copa, Super Sod, salami. Anyway, Paul and Patty Stannard, Fortuna Sausage Company. I love you, and Preston Petty Products. Up next, trivia. That's right. It's that time of the night where we give away one of these beautiful 18 by 24 posters, compliments of Michael McCook and Motorcyclist Illustrated. This, of course, is 18 by 24, picture of Jimmy Weiner and Tony DiStefano. This was a cover in 2004 of Racer X. This is a trivia contest. Excuse me. It is, of course, a call-in contest. So you're going to dial 925-784-2195. That's 925-784-2195. And here's the question. In 1976, he raced a bike with a jack shaft. Do you know what a jack shaft is? Well, if you do, he raced a bike with a jack shaft in 1976. Name the bike and the rider. Name the bike and the rider in 1976. Call-in contest, 925-784-2195. AMS, Dave Boydston. What a great guy. What a wonderful combination. Dave's been a wonderful supporter of the show and, of course, a wonderful supporter of vintage motocross racing for over 25 years now. Be sure to follow Dave online on his personal page. You always get some really cool stuff and some really great stories. But right now, it's time for Dave's Classic Corner. And if you've been following the show for the past 3 weeks, you will have seen 3 different videos from Dave Boydston. I'm going to show them each one to you briefly right now. But keep in mind, what you're going to see here is a restoration that took place over 3 weeks. Check this out.
Good morning, boys and girls. Surprise today with a customer bringing by a 1970 AT1MX. A pretty nice Survivor that someone did a little bit of work to clean up on it. But he wants to get it done as close to a correct stock bike as we can get it. It's an aftermarket sprocket on it. The oil injection has been removed. The pipe had another...
Okay, so that was like the middle of August. A couple of weeks ago, we got this video.
Good morning, this is Dave from AMS Racing. Just wanted to show you what I've been working on at home a little bit and show you a little more detail. My stuff's still at the plating, but I have a lot of extra hardware, so I've been able to kind of mock this thing up. But this is an AT1MX 1969 Yamaha. It was my third bike, from the mini bike to the 100 Yamaha Trailmaster to the AT1MX. And it was a great bike, boy. It was a super sturdy bike. But this was a very...
All right, now that was from a couple of weeks ago with, that was from a couple of weeks ago with Dave Boydston. And just last night on Facebook, we caught this.
Good evening, everybody. This is Dave from AMS Racing. I worked on this baby most of this afternoon here with a little help from Jimmy Sutton here. And we got the motor in it now. And she's got spark, chains hooked up. It's 1969 AT1MX to as new condition. Let me take a look at this baby. It's got an upgraded points ignition to a aftermarket CDI on it, but not visible. to the naked eye. But there's your AT1MX, first year for Yamaha to give a competition bike for the 125 class. I think they were after the motocross market early. This was my third motorcycle. I had a mini bike, a 100 Yamaha trail bike, and then I ended up with the AT1MX. Never thought I'd have a bike that was actually a real race bike, designed as a race bike. Stunning bike. Following year was yellow, next year was red, and then they introduced in '72 the reed valve induction or torque induction. But there you go. She's pretty close. We're not completely, but we're pretty close. We're 95% of the way. I see that there's no exhaust springs on it right now, so we know we need to get those. But first year AT1MX, this is AMS Racing in Phoenix, Arizona. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm getting ready to start packing my bags to head to Texas to Diamond Don's Vintage Motocross weekend. Drive safe out there. Bye-bye.
Dave Boydson restored that bike in like 6 weeks. Not even. He's got a good supply of parts over there, and he has his, what do you call them? He's got his subcontractors in line, okay? Whether it's platers and painters, whoever it may be. Dave Boydson, thanks so much for sending in that bike and for all you do for us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Hello, you're on the air live with Joe Abadi. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Joe, it's Charlie Bagley.
Charlie Bagley. I'm going to go back to the trivia question one more time, and I'm going to read it aloud. In 1976, he raced a bike with a jack shaft. Name the bike and the rider.
It was Galen Mosher. I believe it was a Will Smith Mako.
You are absolutely correct. It was Galen Mosher. It is a Will Smith Mako, and you are tonight's trivia contest winner. And have you ever won a poster or anything from us here at Vintage Motocross?
Well, yeah, I've won a couple other things, but I've never won the poster.
Well, you're going to get a poster, and I'm going to put Susie back on the line, or she's got your address, and we are going to get you. We'll get you that poster out tomorrow, okay?
All right, cool. Thanks, Joe.
Charlie, thanks for watching the show. You as well.
All right.
Bye-bye. Congratulations, Charlie Bagley. And that was a Mako jack shaft bike. You know, I spent a good 20 minutes today online trying to find a picture of the jack shaft itself, okay? I cannot find it. I called Gary Kortz. I called Paul Griffin, knowledgeable Mako guy. That question was actually sent in to me to use on the show from Dave Boydson. But anyway, it was 1976, and there's the bike again in one of my top 5 favorite pictures ever from Mark Kyle. A picture of Galen Mosher at the Shadow Glen track at Indian Dunes, okay? Laying it over to the grip, unbelievable style. The late Galen Mosher. But I cannot find a picture of the jack shaft, okay? And if you guys are wondering what that is and you may not know, you picture a Mako or any other bike. You got your counter shaft sprocket. Then right behind it, you have your pivot for your swing arm. Well, as the bike's travel got longer and longer, the chain got longer. Excuse me. And excuse me 1 second. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut to a commercial, and I'll be right back.
I'm Brock Glover, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, and we'll be right back.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom. we raced, we rode, we lived and breathed motocross. Go back in time and relive those moments, now preserved for the first time ever in the world's first museum dedicated to the history of motocross. Our new building is in the gate. Help us get a great start and you can be part of history. Go to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org and become a part of our team.
The International Motocross Museum is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Be sure to visit them online at internationalmotocrossmuseum.org or follow them on Facebook. I want to thank Motion Pro for their years of support here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. They still got a special going on, 20% across the board on everything except custom-made cables. When you check out, use code MP9135, MP9135. Here's a tool they just came out with. I absolutely love it. It's an offset wrench. Perfect for taking off your sprockets, getting in behind where you might have some problem on your 12 or 14 millimeter nuts that have, let's say, on your motor mount area, or certainly, as you could see here, on a sprocket to where it's a little bit offset. Just remember, Motion Pro, MP9135. Thank you, Russell Waters and AMSOIL. And it's not just oil. They've got lubricants for firearms. They've got racing grease, window cleaner, car wash, engine degreaser, all sorts of great stuff there at AMSOIL. And if you want to buy from Russell directly, go to www.theoilpeople.shop, amsoil.com. Thank you, Russell Waters. Guess who's back this week? One of my favorite segments of the show and one of yours too. Ted Boyko and the Expansion Chamber. Let's get right to it with Ted Boyko. Ted Boyko, thank you for joining me again this week for the Expansion Chamber.
Thank you.
You know, you've
Glad
had
to be
quite
back.
Ted, I would imagine you have to get a secretary at your shop because a lot of people talk about the Expansion Chamber and they love it. They love it on the show. It's a really informative and fun part, and you make it really interesting.
It's been good. Be honest, I've gotten 3, I think, jobs out of just doing this.
Good.
And I don't know if I told you, but I got some watercraft stuff out of your. A lot of watercraft guys watch your show, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And these are guys who knew me from, because I was one of the first guys doing watercraft before Harry or anybody. And so these guys are following. You have a following that guys even told me they have my half-page ad in MXA. So it's kind of cool.
Okay.
These guys and they just found me after all these years. It's pretty cool.
I'm happy that I've been able to help. And I think a big part of it, Ted, so far with my viewers and what I've heard about it is I've asked some basic questions and you've been able to elaborate on them in such a way. And let's put it this way, and we'll get to the first topic. The first thing any of us were able to do when we had a mini bike or a motorcycle, other than know how to put gas in it, there was the one thing we felt like a mechanic right away, and that was for spark plugs.
Yeah,
you know, we all knew how to take that wrench and take a spark plug out as if we knew we were looking at it. And, you know, and other than put another one in, we didn't really know too much. So a lot of things have been discussed about spark plugs over the years, hot plugs, cold plugs. I want to just start off with what do you run basically, or what do you run or recommend is used in the engines that you rebuild or race bikes that you may have in your shop?
Well, old school stuff. And then, you know, it seemed like every decade it changed, you know, which is kind of how it was. If you remember back in the vintage stuff, you're going to use a plug that's going to be a standard B8 ES, you know, just a straight up, or just a B8E, a B8E. And then it came to, and then it got more and more each decade. But air cooled was simple spark plugs. It was common to use the same plug almost in just a lot of the different. There was 2 plugs that people used in the vintage. It was a short reach and a long reach. Pretty simple back in the day. But as we grew into this sport, it was really funny for me to see all the changes, especially as an engine builder. You know, if you're doing engine, you're shipping these things out the door, you kind of want to keep one standard plug, and ship them for this and this one. Well, it's not like that anymore. Now you got the Yamaha plug that's got a shank this long. New generation stuff is so complicated on each and every brand. It's bizarre. And they're not only complicated, and they don't have a standard spark plug size anymore. It's a 14 millimeter socket to get in. And sometimes on some of these bikes, believe it or not, I've had to machine the 14 millimeter socket because it won't fit in the head if you don't machine on the lathe.
Yeah.
So
and you know what, Ed, if I may just give one of my sponsors a plug here right now. I had Motion Pro send me a box one day with different tools in it, and I could not believe the different sizes of the spark plugs and the reach and the little handles and all this thing that went along with taking a spark plug out.
It's bizarre.
It is.
It's bizarre, and you really got to be careful because you can break these plugs now. And you don't want to break one in these new beautiful heads on these new 4-strokes because, and believe it or not, we're talking these things drop into the head an inch. That's long. That's a long ways. We never had spark plugs that went in an inch.
No,
they went in. I mean, you were lucky if they even went a half inch. So these things are dropping in, and they're skinny. And if you break the head off of that thing, you're pretty much screwed because it's really hard to access it on any of the new generation heads. Just the way they've designed them, it's even hard to get the spark plug in and out. I'll be upfront with you on these new generation engines. Good luck fouling a plug nowadays on new generation engines.
Yeah,
because you're not going to be able to change that plug in the quickie lewickie like we used to back in the day.
Oh yeah,
so you're pulling the seat, half the subframe off, and just to change.
Crazy. It's crazy. I had a picture here, and I want to bring it up to where it was showing about the cooling. In other words, the topic was, and I was looking it up because as I do a little bit of research, but before our conversations, you often hear it's a hotter plug, it's a colder plug. And I wanted to discuss with you what that actually meant as far as the numbers going up and down and, how that should be applied. I mean, as you said, NGK, BAES, we were all happy. And so if you can, let's talk about that.
They vary, vintage bikes versus new generation. Obviously, it's more important on new generation bike, you're not going to be changing the different size plug. You're going to run what they recommend, and you're going to adjust everything in the ECU. On a vintage bike, let's say, you're going to have to get pretty creative with your plugs, just like you do jetting. So if you throw a pipe on this thing and we pour it and we bump the timing up, you obviously are not going to run the same plug that you were running before because why? It's going to be a little hotter than we want it. We bumped up the timing, we're running some race gas. We got all the bitch and shit. We got this thing pumped up.
Yeah.
Pumping a little more head pressure. So you obviously want to go to a little bit colder plug. Go one step colder at least. So if you're running an 8, throw a 9 in it.
Okay, that's a good point that you made there. So as the numbers go up, the cooling goes down. Or the cooling, yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then there are ways to cool your plug off. Desert racers, we've taught, guys I've done engines for going across the dry lake bed.
Yeah.
To how to cool the plug off and cool the bike off. You just run the thing pinned across the lake bed, and you're going to pull the clutch in and hit the kill switch and hold the throttle wide open at the same time. And that thing's just going to go woo. It's just going to cool the thing off so nicely that it'll, especially on an old air-cooled 2-stroke back in the day, it was a good way to cool them off. Guys, a lot of guys had compression releases.
Yes.
That would do that also, be doing the same thing, basically.
Let's talk about this here, Ted. Now, here's a picture of a plug, a standard plug, whatever it may be, and it shows where and how the plug cools off and what percentage of that area really draws the heat away from the plug itself. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I saw this particular picture, and when they show 58% of the cooling is from around the threads out, this really tells me now how important or how big of a factor an aluminum head would be as opposed to a steel head.
Definitely.
I mean, the aluminum has got to be pulling away the heat off that plug a whole lot quicker than a steel head.
Oh, I would definitely, especially from like an old school cast iron. Yeah. By far. I mean, you're be tremendous difference. I'm sure. I'm surprised they don't show that in this, versus aluminum versus steel. Be nice to see. Be really nice to see.
I thought that was a very, very interesting picture.
It makes sense. And then I noticed and then a lot of things too. You were talking about the caps on resistors.
Yeah. We're going to get into that in a future show about the caps. But for today, I just wanted to concentrate on the plugs. But yes, the cap too, and we'll definitely cover that.
Yep.
What else do we have here?
Okay.
So different fuel types. We're going to get a different reading on the plug, ethanol, non-ethanol. In the old days, it was, highest octane you could get, and you tried to make it that nice chocolate brown, and away you went. But now today, different fuels, different mixtures. What do we get, Ted?
We had none of those pictures look good for me.
No, they don't. The one that says good looks lean. Here we go. I had to cut it right about there with Ted Boyko. He goes on for at least another 10 minutes. I will, after the show, post the video in its entirety on the Vintage Motocross Q&A page, and you'll be able to get to hear and see more from Ted Boyko, more about spark plugs. And as the weeks go on, we recorded some really, really great things on spark plug caps, resistor caps, and some other stuff. And we also had a very nice conversation. Had nothing to do with spark plugs or anything with the engine. He told me a lot about the early days with Donnie Emler, and he talked about FMF, and we'll get into that in one of the future episodes. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A.
Hi, I'm Sue Fish. You are watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll be right back.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use Full Circle Racing wheels prepped by Tom McAllister. So should you. Watch this and learn why. When racing vintage motocross where suspension is very limited, your wheels can be the difference between winning or serious injury. We chose to run Full Circle Racing wheels because of the super high quality materials and the heavy duty spokes used. Prepped by Tom McAllister, I have the confidence on the track to push way harder through the rough stuff and the bigger jumps, knowing my wheels are going to stay under me. Hey, Clunker may be 50 years old, but his wheels are brand new, and yours should be too. Call Tom McAllister at Full Circle Racing today.
There you have it. Jerry Maddox, Full Circle Racing. It's a great combination. And, of course, Jerry Maddox, a big supporter of our show, gives us a lot of content. And Tom McAllister helping out so many people with wheels throughout, not just the Great Northwest, but throughout the country. I want to welcome Arma as a sponsor to our show. And when you go over to Arma, if you don't have to be a racer to be a member of Arma. You could still get vintage views. You could still get some other information that comes out monthly or quarterly, and you can get it for a discounted price if you use the code VMXQ&A. That's VMXQ&A. And if you'd like to become a sponsor of Vintage Motocross Q&A, just one low price, $249.95 a month. Space is limited, and we would love to have you on board. Okay, Vintage Motocross Q&A, $250 a month. I want to thank Mark Farriester and Sunrise Vapor Blasting for helping us out on the show here and for making a lot of our work a whole lot easier when we get it back all nice and clean from Mark Farriester and Sunrise Vapor Blasting. What's it worth? This is the part of the show where I ask you, the viewers at home, to take your best guess on what you think this bike recently sold for. Susie will have some stickers available for you, whoever gets closest without going over. Now, many times I use bikes that are on my page on Facebook, the Buyers and Sellers Price Guide page, and somebody gets it right away because you guys study that page. And, well, I went to eBay this week. So you better think a little harder, okay?
Tricky.
Oh, yeah, I tricked them this week, so no question about it. We got a 1983 RM250 full floater. This is an ultra rare and pristine survivor, and yet it says it's a frame-off restoration and preservation service to museum quality. Very confusing. This is from the from Kaplan Cycle, the New England Motorcycle Museum. Okay, all original cycle parts and fresh rebuilt engine, a true vintage MX weapon. Exceptionally rare and stunning 83 RM250, a factory full floater that's been given a full preservation level restoration. Out of more than 10,000 bikes to pass through our shop, this is the second 83 RM250 that we've ever had, and by far it's the nicest one we've ever seen to date. With mostly original components, pristine, perfect, clean frame rails, rebuilt power plant, and legendary two-stroke performance, this machine is a showpiece that also rips. It's a classic 80s AMA era beast that still pulls harder than modern 250 four-strokes. I doubt that very much. With lighter weight and more torque, a true whole-shot monster. Here are the rest of the pictures of the bike. I will admit it does look like a very, very nice bike, but in one breath you say all original, and the next one you have full frame-off restoration and preservation service. So, look, it looks like the engine was repainted. You did mention that it had a top end done. Very unlikely. I mean, it might be a low-hour bike, but you painted the clutch cover. So, survivor, preservation, service, okay, fine. It looks like a nice bike, and it was for sale at Kaplan's in New England. So, what do you think this bike recently sold for? $4,000? $5,000? $7,000. This bike sold for $7,950. That's $7,950. There was a feedback. It was from just over a month ago. $7,950 for an 83 RM250 with, I don't want to say questionable. Nothing's really questionable about it. It's just in the description, it says it's a survivor. It's got a preservation service. It's a nice bike overall. $7,980. Susie, baby, you got anybody on that?
7,000.
I'm putting you on camera.
Well,
You don't want to be on camera?
no, it's fine. I have
What do you got? Anybody close?
Philip Liberty said 82.
A little over on Phil's.
And then
Anybody under 79.50?
Tyler McGregor said 75. So,
I'll tell you what.
and
I'm going to let it roll for a minute while I go on to the next segment.
yeah,
And you keep looking. And if Tyler McGregor is the closest at 7,500 without going over, then Tyler McGregor is the winner. All right?
well, that's it.
You've already
stated the price is sold for us, so they're done. They're done.
Oh, that's right, too.
Yeah, they're done. So
I don't even know the rules of my own game anymore.
yeah, so it's got to be Tyler.
George Ackerman, 4,750, 6,800, 7,500, 82. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing them here too. Tyler McGregor, you are tonight's winner. You will get 2 stickers compliment of Susie Creates.
Yeah.
Okay? Susie Creates. I want to thank the Moto Dude group. Dan Murphy lets us post a lot of cool stuff there on his page. And in turn, I post some motorcycles there whenever I get an opportunity. Dan Murphy, thank you. And the Moto Dude page for being supporters of Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you, Steve Granvis and Bultaco East, for also being a sponsor of Vintage Motocross Q&A and a longtime supporter of Bultacos throughout North America. Did you know Jeff Kokoski will be back next week? He promises me. He and Sharon are doing very, very well. And he will be back with some of his do it or did you know segments. I know a lot of you guys miss them. I certainly do as well. So we're going to have a little something different tonight. Did you know, remember last week I said something about, or maybe it was the week before, did you know that there's like a Mako museum in Northern California in the Santa Cruz area, Monterey area? Oh yeah, Mako Mo. Mako Mo was the dad. Paul Griffin is the kid, and he is keeping the dream alive with Makos. And he sent us in something this week again where he went around a shop with his camera and showed us some really cool stuff. This week, Paul is going to tell you about Metzler tires. Now, of course, Metzler tires were standard issue on Makos, but they came on some other bikes as well. Paul's going to give you a little tip here on where you can find them, NOS yet, too. Let's get a look at this video.
And today I'm going to talk about NOS Metzler. Everybody looking for an NOS Metzler tire for their European show bike, whether it's a Mako, Bultaco, Penton, Husqvarna, or a Pirelli Garacross for your Bultaco guys. I'm going to dive into this and show you guys how you can get a brand new pair of these today for around about $100 a tire. They're still out there, and a lot of people are finding these very hard to find and usable shape, not cracked, soft enough to mount, not been on a tire rack in the sun and at some dealership. And we'll start off with the original Metzler. We'll go over here to this 501, which has a very early set. And you could see that the knobby on this, the first one's had a split center knobby on it. And this was a set 1970 tire and had the motocross logo on the side and still Metzler logoed on the side of it. And then the front tire, a lot of people have seen this one. This went for a long time. And come back here to these. And you could see that that split knobby became a smooth knobby. And this is a 76 AW that has never had the tires removed. These were mounted by the factory. And the knobby became a smooth knob over the years in the 70s. And later on, Metzler's U.S. distributor requested that they bring back this tire because it's hugely asked for the vintage guys. And they brought it back with the Unicross name. And you could see that it still said Metzler on it, but it came back in the big bold letters in Unicross. And it didn't really sell really well. They did the 21 front and they did the one rear 18. And the vintage craze hadn't hit yet. So they didn't sell, so they stopped doing them. But Pirelli bought Metzler and made the MT16 Garacross. And you could see that it's the exact same mold. The only difference is Pirelli uses the squiggly lines and Metzler had those straight lines. And then when you go to the rear of the MT16, it's the smooth knob, just like the 70s. You could see this 70s rear with the smooth knob. Tread pattern identical. It's got the easy clean out. It's got kind of a flat top knobby pattern where it misses the chain. So when you put a lot of modern tires on vintage bikes, the chain hits. And you could see that the chain, there's tons of clearance there. It's not even an issue. So there you have it. You can still get that classic Metzler vintage knobby under the Pirelli umbrella It's called an MT16. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Chaparral. Revzilla has it. Rocky Mountain ATV has them. And like I said, they go for about $100 a tire. Hope that helped out. Thanks for watching.
Paul Griffin. Really great information. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know about Pirelli and the Mechler thing. I knew nothing about that until I watched that video yesterday when Paul Griffin sent it to me. Thank you, Paul. You got your own little spot here on the show. When Jeff Kakasi comes back, I'm going to have to come up with a some kind of name for the Mako Mo segment. Maybe we'll just call it Mako Mo. All right?
There you go.
Anyway, that is it from, I just want to show that picture one more time. Look at this beautiful picture.
That's a beauty.
Oh, that really is nice. That's Monterey Bay, I think, behind him.
He lives down there?
Yeah, Santa Cruz, Monterey area.
Yeah, it is beautiful down there.
Thank you, Ben's Vintage Mini Bike Podcast. Follow it on Facebook. He's got a broadcast every Sunday night on the first Sunday of the month. All right. I want to thank Ben's. Who else? Oh, come on. This Week in Motocross History is brought to you by Racer X. Be sure to visit them online at racerx.com, or you can certainly get an issue mailed to you. Okay, that's Racer X. Thank you, Scott Wallenberg, Davey Coombs, and everyone there at Racer X. It was 1972, September 17th. Today marks the day. And one of the closest finishes ever, Belgium won the 1972 FIM Motocross des Nations in the Netherlands over Sweden. But only after officials had to add up the times of the 4 riders on each team to get the overall time for each team. The Belgians Roger de Coster, Joël Robert, Jake van Veldhoven, and Rene van der Vorst combined times for the 2 motos were 5 hours, 14 minutes, and 12 seconds. Wow. The Swedish team of Åke Jansson, Bink Aberg, Christer Hammergren, and Bert Vollner were 5 hours, 14 minutes, and 21 seconds. The individual overall winner with a 2-1 moto score was Suzuki's de Coster and Mako's Jansson, second with 3 and 2 finishes. Interesting way of how they used to calculate the times for the nation's races. The United States team of Gary Jones, Brad Lackey, Jim Pomeroy, and Jim Weinert finished 7th for the team tally on that day. Lackey's best finish of the individual finishes was an 8 and 13. Now, they did pretty good that day, but it was here in September 15th of 1974 was where Jim Weiner, Tony DiStefano, Jim Pomeroy, and Brad Lackey finished 2nd overall in the Nations. And I just wanted to bring you a little history on that while we had some time here at Vintage Motocross Q&A tonight. There's that 72 finish that we were talking about where Lackey, Pomeroy, Jones, and Weiner finished 7th. Then in 73, I don't know why this is a team that is sometimes forgotten about. They finished really well. Pomeroy, Mike Hartwig, and John DeSoto were the 4th. Of course, Lackey, Pomeroy, Weiner, and DeStefano were the 2nd. Lackey, Pomeroy, Howerton, DeStefano were the 9th. The Hurricane, Rocket Rex, the Rhinestone Cowboy, and Tony D were the 5th in 76, and so on and so forth. And of course, 1981, Chuck Son, Danny Laporte, Johnny O'Mara, and Donnie Hansen finally bring the gold home to America. And that ran for, I think, 12, 13, it ran a long time, like over 10 years, where America would win every year. All right, we've got some announcements coming up right now. The announcements are brought to you by the International Motocross Museum. Hey, Suze,
Yeah.
do you have your random viewer appreciation thing?
I do.
You want to do that right now?
I
and,
do.
And we'll kind of wrap that up.
Huh.
All right, let me get this thing over here. Let me put your sparkling smile right here. Who won what, and who are you giving?
Tonight's viewer appreciation winner is Tony Pavone.
Tony Pavone.
Yeah.
Tony Pavone, you are tonight's. You know, Gino, I'm trying to run an empire here. Tony Pavone, you are tonight's viewer appreciation winner.
Yeah.
Please get us your mailing address.
Yes.
And Susie's going to send you a nice vintage motocross Q&A hat.
Yes.
Okay? Tony Pavone, thanks for watching the show. The announcements are brought to you by the International Motocross Museum. Be sure to visit them online at the International Motocross Museum motocrossq&a.com. Zor Moto Park is coming up September 27th and 28th. That's just around the corner, about 10 days away. All right. You can go to www.zormotopark.com for more information. I think they got a class for just about everybody. George Ackerman's Moto Barn event. That happens Saturday, October 25th from 10 to 4. County Line Church Road, Ruther Glen, Virginia. Barry Higgins will be there. Warren Reed, Steve Wise. The food is free. The drinks are cold. There'll be a bike show. I'm telling you, it's a great time, and it's all done courtesy of George Ackerman and the Moto Barn. I better put on, not my thinking cap, I better get my research pad out and get ready because the big one is coming up in Northern California. That's October 18th. No. I will be the MC for the De La Viaga Park Santa Cruz NorCal reunion. Look at the list of who's going to be there. David Bailey, Roger DeCosta, the Fox brothers, Glover, Lackey, Billy Grassi, Tom Rapp, Pat Richter, Daryl Schultz, who I will have on for an interview in the very near future. Steve Simons, who's about to be inducted into the Mountain Bike Hall of Fame, Dana Waxham, Larry Wosick, and who knows, I know who else is going to be there. They're not on the list yet. Ricky Johnson and Jeff Ward. Confirmed. Go over to roadtorecovery.com, get your tickets. You might wind up on a mountain bike ride with Wardy and Ricky Johnson, or you might wind up playing golf with some of the other older legends in the game. All right? Be a good time. Looking forward to seeing everybody. Bushy Ranch, September 27th and 28th. They got a big race coming up there. That is an ARMA event. It is put on by ARMA. It does happen in Canby, California. Motion Pro is one of the sponsors. Motion Pro, always helping somebody out, okay? Hey, look, if you're going to make it to one event this year, and it's only a couple of weeks away, the Barber Vintage Festival, October 2nd through the 5th. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And believe me when I tell you, you're going to need 4 days to get around that facility. And if you want to see what's inside the museum after that, give yourself another day. The Vintage Festival at Barber. Absolutely incredible museum, and the grounds are spectacular. Farm 14 MX. That's coming up too. That's this week. Oh, no, it's October 17th through the 19th. That's Sunday, the 19th. They got the cross country happening over there. They got Post Vintage, Generation X. That all happens there in Centerville, Missouri.
Generation X. What's that?
It's after Evo. It's like dual, what do you call it? Disc brake, water cooled.
Oh, okay.
All right. $250 a month. We'll put you on the board here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. You'll get all the exposure that Racer X, International Motocross Museum, Motion Pro, Taco East, Preston Petty Products, Full Circle Racing, and Air Soil. They all get that, okay? For just $250 a month. And you know what? Did you or did you not just hear Ted Boyko say he got 3 jobs from being on the show?
They did say that.
All right? 3 jobs. And he says he's got more. And he got some from the first time he was on the show, too.
That's awesome.
All right? I let him on the show for free because he has good content. $250. Is it not worth it? Whatever it is you sell or whatever service you perform, are you not going to make that back in a month? I think you will. Barbecue and fundraiser happens on Saturday, November 1st. The rain date is November 8th. That is Crowder Creek ARP Church. The Reverend Al Roof will be bringing it home to you. Praise God. Al Roof is not a reverend, but he is a wonderful person who knows how to give back to not only his church family, but the motocross and vintage motorcycle industry as well. That wraps it up for this episode of Vintage Motocross Q&A. And you want me to get Gino? He's right here. Let's see if he jumps on my chair. Gino, come over here. Come over here. Come on. Come on. There you go. Thank you, everyone, for watching the show. May God bless you. May God bless America. And may God keep us all safe. Thank you for watching. Keep sharing the show. I'm so grateful for every Wednesday when you drop in and join me. We'll see you next time on Vintage Motocross Q&A.
Okay.
Not one of my smoothest exits.
It was